What's up, everybody? Welcome back at another episode of this F1 2010 Let's Play Career Mode on Expert. We are still in dark and fireworky Singapore, but we are going to go off to good old Suzuka, Japan, and see if we can get some funky stuff going on, because there's always weird shit coming out of Japan. You guys better know that for sure. No offense to my Japanese fans. I love Japan. So here we are, the standings in the WDC, 26 points ahead of Mark Webber, aka the Aussie bastard. He's ahead of Vettel, but Vettel's probably not going to play a part anymore in the championship. But that's what everybody said this year. Oh my god. Yeah, who knows, who knows. Late season charge from Vettel. It's possible, it's possible. As said, Suzuka. It's one of the nicest tracks on the calendar. It's right up there with Monaco and Spa, in my opinion. That first sector is, it's God. It's very difficult. I mean, I'm not saying I love the track because I'm that good at it. I just love the track because the layout is so special, really. So, you know, practice. I know the track pretty well. I've done a league race on here, 75% before, and done a couple online races on it, so didn't need too much practice on it. So that's how I ended up. And let's go to the qualifying and the setup, of course. But chance of rain, 100%. Oh yeah, it's raining in qualifying. I'm not too unhappy about it because, as I said, the AI race pace is pretty good on Suzuka. I know the last few races have been a bit of a bore, but, you know, it's not my fault the AI was that weak on it. But on Suzuka, they're pretty competitive. I remembered from my last seasons I did that Suzuka, the AI is pretty damn good on Suzuka. They're very fast through the first S's, and they're fast to the spoon curve, I think. They are a bit slow through the 130R, but that's pretty much the only point they're a bit slow on this track. So very competitive AI. So I'm hoping to bring you guys some better racing than the last races. See if we can have some nice wheel-to-wheel battles, some overtakes, and some opportunity to use my newly found instant replay. So there we are. I had a tough time because it's raining and I'm on the intermediates, and I kept missing the chicane, so I actually never completed a lap. But near the end, this is really very much near the end of the of the qualifying session, and we are in the hot lap on the first corner. Drop down one gear, drop down two more into third. Feather your throttle through here. Don't go too wide, you'll spin out and hit the wall. Back up to fifth, feather your throttle a bit. Down one gear, feather it a bit more. Stay in fourth, hit that apex. And then either get down one more gear or stay in fourth, depending how you feel like it. Feathering the throttle. Don't go flat out yet. Don't go yet. Don't go yet. Flat out here. Maximize the use of the track here again. All the way down to the Degnas. First Degnas. Drop down to fourth or fifth. You can cut it like a madman here. Drop down to second or third. Watch out. Don't hit the gravel in this section. You will spin out again. Up to the Kobayashi hairpin. You brake just where that curve on the right hand side ends. Chasing Senna, let's hope he doesn't mess up our lap too much. He holds to the side pretty well. So here you're flat out through ours. Of course, watch the traction exiting out of the hairpin. Short shift, throttle control. Here, no braking point, no good reference. You drop down to third, and I completely miss a spoon curve. Very tricky again. Don't want to go too wide here. We can mess it up, so not the greatest qualifying lap. Is what I had to do. I don't know what the hell Senna's doing here, but he's doing some funky stuff, interrupting me. And 130R, you take that flat out, full lock, just completely flat out, brake at about the 150 meter mark, cut that chicane, a little bit of gas, cut it again, and boom, back on the throttle. Careful again, because this is tricky when it comes to traction. Saw a little slide here, not the best of my qualifying laps, but it still nets me P2. That's right. It does put us in a pretty good position, but look who's number one, Mark Webber, full half a second ahead of me. And 6/10 ahead of his teammate Vettel. So Webber put in a stonker there at the end. And chance of rain 10% during the race. And it's dry. I got the options back on. So this could be interesting. Again, I cheated again. Same thing happened like in Silverstone. I got held up in the pits twice. So I actually restarted the race twice. I mean, we're that close to the championship. And I don't mind if I lose the championship by messing up and putting my car in the wall, but I'm not going to miss the championship because Codemasters are lazy bastards and won't get the lollipop guy fixed. So I got held up in the pit twice, so I had to restart twice. It was like 15-second pit stops. And you'll see I adapted it here. I'm going to pit not at the recommended lap again. So let's go here for the start. I'm getting ready to cut off Vettel right away because he's off the grid. Very nice, but still very cleanly. No contact here. Sticking to my line. First corner. Is he going to get through the inside? No, he's not. Didn't manage to put pressure on Weber, though, on that first corner. So that's going to be a bit tough here. And the car is a bit heavier than usual, so that makes it even harder to get these S's right. So let's check out the start again and see if I manage to do it cleanly enough to block Vettel from getting the outside line here. Instant replay. Some of the camera views are really good, but then they switch at weird times and stuff, and I really want better cameras for 2011. But here we are, there's Schumacher who really dove down the inside. He's getting ahead of Vettel, no, just not. But I managed to stay ahead of Vettel, keep my P2, and now we're back in real time into the race, trying to catch up to Weber, see if we can put some pressure on him. A little bit of correction here, had a bit of a slide in the car, but easily corrected with a bit of counter steering. Into the Dignas for the first time, where Schumacher famously lost the championship with an engine blowout. I don't remember which year was it 06? I think maybe his last year. Yeah, I think it was, gifting Alonso the championship basically, because without that engine, Alonso wouldn't have gotten it. I think it was 06, maybe it was 05. One of the years Mr. Eyebrows became champion. That's for sure. So Weber, I don't know what came into him. Must have got like Tabasco up his behind or something. Christopher Horner woke him up, but he's running like a rocket. Maybe he has some connections with NASA scientists who put in like a rocket in the back of his car, but he's just flying away. I got pressure from Vettel behind me. I was struggling on top speed as usual on the Lotus, and this is a track where the Lotus really doesn't shine. It's very important to have a good front end grip. And the Lotus, as I've said many times before, is a very understeery car. So it's very hard to get the S's right consistently. In general, this track is very hard to be consistent at. Just because you miss up one corner in those S's, you mess up pretty much the whole first sector. Because you lose the momentum you trying to get through here. And I'm sure we'll see me losing momentum at some points. Never, it's very hard to really nail this sector at every time. Again, I've mentioned it on other tracks. Tracks like, Silverstone, that first sector, and the first sector here in Suzuka is really where, if you guys try to work on your throttle control, you really have to do it on these two tracks, Silverstone and Suzuka. That first sector is very, very difficult. Manual gearing and throttle control are so important in here. And yeah, I baptized this the Kobayashi hairpin after all the freaking awesome moves he did in Japan this year. He really made the Japanese proud there. If you haven't seen it, just Google it, put it in YouTube, search it, Kobayashi Suzuka. That dude had such a crazy ass awesome race. He passed 3 or 4 cars in that exact hairpin. I was pretty silly. And really bonsai moves, but clean as well. There was one that wasn't that clean, and then there was another one. Alguersuari bumped into him and not the other way around. I guess Alguersuari was a bit pissed to get schooled like that by him. And I heard a lot of people have trouble with this chicane. I'm usually not a big fan of chicanes, at the heavy braking zones, but this one, I don't know, I feel it pretty well. It's just a matter of not being too afraid of the curves. They don't spin you out as much as other chicanes like the one in Catalonia would do if you hit them. So you can go pretty deep on them, ride them like a horse. I'm on a horse. What is it? Old Spice? Jeez, that's hilarious. Show that to my wife, that commercial. Don't know if that was the best move. Look at your man, now look back at me. I'm not that fit, not as fit as that dude. That's for sure. So lap 3, the options go in yellow, and you might have noticed the little hand of my little dude here going signal a pit stop already. That's just to be 100% sure I avoid getting held up in the pits. So the first time I pitted on the scheduled lap 4, and got held up 14 seconds. Second lap, I figured, okay, let's avoid that. I'm gonna pit in lap 5, and I get held up 15 seconds. So I was about to throw my car into the wall and call it quits, but then I figured, okay, let's restart it one more time. Let's just pit at lap 3. I know it's a bit too early, but the track is very heavy on the tires. Look at my fronts after 3 laps, already orange. And I got Massa on my ass now. He got past Vettel some way. While I was jabbering, we missed that. 130R, legendary corner. Not so legendary anymore because it's kind of like Eau Rouge. It used to be like only the ballsiest guys could take it flat out, but now with these modern F1 cars, you can just take it flat out and not really worry about it even that much. That's spots of Alonso, one of his greatest overtakes around the outside though. So we're in the pits. We're the only one in the pits, so I'm thinking, okay, this might go right. Don't forget the brake. Okay, our brake pretty much on time. Very slow in there. I don't know why that went that slow. Decent pit stop, 3.8 seconds. Okay, and my pit entry was pretty good as well. So let's see where we get out. Of course, look at all the train of cars. So we're probably right at the back of the field. There's still people behind. So I don't know. They must have had spins or something. There's Sutil in P21, and he's not really supposed to be there. Alguersuari was P21 at some point, it seemed like. So now we are on the primes, and I'm just trying to put in some good out lap here. To make sure I can regain my rightful second place I was at. Hope I don't get jumped by too much, so it's really crucial on your outlaps not to make too many mistakes and be fast right off the bat. I really would like to see this more in F1 2011, that cold tires actually have an effect, because your tires warm up, boom, instantly. And you saw this in this season a lot. I mean, there were a lot of drivers complaining they couldn't get the temperature in the tire, and yeah, it's something very important in F1 to get your temperatures right on the tires, and it's not really done, you know, it doesn't really affect anything. I've never seen tires go too cold or too hot, you know, never happens. Yeah, too cold it happens when you're like on a slow outlap in qualifying, then yeah, sometimes they get blue, but all you need to do is like one little burnout and they're green again. So I really want to see that in F1 2011. See you doing the actual outlap before going to the grid in the warm-up lap, where warming up your tires is really going to make a difference. Really would like to see that. Just adds a whole, because F1 is as much about strategy as it's about fast racing, and this is where the game is lagging a bit. So a whole lot of people are in the pits, but I see someone coming out ahead. Is that Massa? Did Massa jump me in the pit stops? That motherfucker sure did. Must have had a stonker of an in-lap, because, yep, got ahead of me. He wasn't that far behind me, though, granted. But my pit stop wasn't bad. So, Massa, definitely good pit stop. For one of the first times I see him and Mr. Eyebrows ahead of me. Sorry, took a sip there. But good news is, though, I knew Massa was right behind me. So, since I ended up right behind him, means I'm probably going to end up in P3 once all the pit stops of everybody else is done. So, okay. This pit stop thing went pretty well, because I feel you can't beat the AI on pit stop. It looks like every single time they have a perfect pit stop. I mean, that's how it feels like. They just, you almost never jump the AI in a pit stop in race strategy. Another shame. Another, like I said, very important, get strategy right in Formula 1. Especially this year now in 2011, where tires are looking to be much more important now. They're talking about 2 to 3 pit stops every race. There's a super soft that apparently just lasts for one fast lap and then drop off 1.5 seconds already on the next lap. So yeah, it's definitely gonna spice up the racing a bit. Don't know if I'm such a big fan, because yeah, of course you need strategy, but yeah, it's gonna depend a lot on the tires now. And like I said earlier in these vid series, I'm thinking this is gonna benefit Button a lot. There are a lot of people passed in the pits, and Rob didn't realize I just pitted, so, you know, the scheduled pit stop's out the window, Rob. I just pitted. There's 11 laps, you know, we're halfway through. I'm not going to pit a second time. Forget about it. So there we see the little blue dot on the map. That's Webber ahead. So we still probably have some prime runners in between us here. There's Massa getting up to one right now. Staying in touch with Massa, but not getting in a position to really threaten him. So, yeah, and there's Sutil who's gaining on me, actually. I'm thinking, you know, backmarker, that might be an opportunity for me here to get an opportunity on Massa if he doesn't get past fast enough. So, you know, Massa might be hindered, or I could go around the outside, do a little Mika Hakkinen on Schumacher move. Never know about that. And yep, let's pay close attention to Massa in front now. We're gonna see a very ballsy move on the outside of Spoon Curve on what is Chandok. Look at that. So weird. Well, the first time I actually see the AI do a competitive overtake, so this definitely warrants an instant replay. Hell yeah. There we are. There's Soodle chasing me. There's Massa and Chandok ahead. Like I said, camera positions suck, but I don't know. You could just see him going around the outside, but it's gonna come back. There it is. Massa going around the outside of Spoon. Excellent driving, I gotta say, Felipe. Let's hope we see you do some of that this year and not the shadow of yourself you were this year. There's Chandok. I know they break pretty early here, so boom, I dive down around the outside. He's gonna get taken on the outside 2 times in 2 corners. Yes, he sure is. So we're past Chandok and still in Massa's mirrors. And looks like Soodle's spitting now, so that was the end of the instant replay, I think. Nope, that's the instant replay of... all confused. Of my pass. Get a much better drive out of a 130R. He's trying to squeeze me out, but that's not in. And I squeeze him out at the end of the chicane. So there we go, another instant replay for you guys. So at least that's one competitive overtake we've seen. That's the first one in like 4 races, I think, in this career mode against AI. So, you know, it's finally one. I just can't seem to catch up to Massa. And Chandok, well, I'm fairly sure he's still due to pit. So Soodle backed off a bit, it seems. Or I did a good lap, I don't know. But not too much under pressure from behind. So the pressure's really here, trying to get that P2 back from Massa. Kubica is number 1 now. Sad to see that now, of course, in the light of everything that's happened with that poor fella. But Kubica's now in P1, so I saw Weber's blue dot somewhere almost go wide here. That was a bit of a scare. Let's see if we can see. Yeah, Weber's getting out of the hairpin already, so he's a good 10 seconds ahead almost. So Weber's probably out of touch now, but maybe we can still get Massa, but Massa's also disappearing from our horizon. Well, P3 isn't bad on Suzuka, but let's see if we can maybe spice it up a bit, and who knows. The AI, they do tend to make mistakes on the Degna corners. They're very tricky corners. A lot of human players make mistakes there too, because if you go into the gravel there, if you go into the gravel, you're pretty much guaranteed to spin. It's very tricky to recover from that. So you're better off going a bit slower through there than you would. Just driving on the limit is very dangerous there. Oop, a little moment there. Nothing too spectacular though. And that's Chandok pitting we see here on the HUD. And Alonso somehow, he must have passed Sutil. No, we saw Sutil pitting already. So I'm now between a Ferrari sandwich. And I'm going to try to prove to Mr. Eyebrows that you are not faster than me. And yep, that's true. Kubica pitted, so Weber is back in P1. So he is bound to pick up some good points. But on the upcoming Degna curves here after the whole S complex, I'm still hoping they might make a mistake. Yeah, I do make mistakes around there. I often... Pretty much that's the most mistake-prone track for the AI, is here in Suzuka on the Degna curves. Not this one especially, but this one here. You often see them against the wall here on the right-hand side. So, I had someone telling me they actually fell off the bridge. I never saw that myself, but I remember someone telling me that's actually what happens, that there's some bug that they fall off the bridge. But, I don't know. I prefer to stick with the slightly more realistic argument that they're just gonna, you know, went into the gravel and then spun out. Missed the Spoon curves a bit, but recovered quite nicely. This is such a tricky corner because you want to get on the throttle full out, but there's a little bump in the track, so you're very prone to spin out there, and you don't want to be too heavy on the throttle, or you go on the gravel again and go wide again. So 130R flat out again, getting through the chicane for a couple more laps. Massa, well, he's not really running away from us, but we're not really being competitive and catching him up. So, yep, that's how it goes. Someone else in the pits, that was Senna. So now we're finally in our rightful position. Although, if you ask me, my rightful position was P2. Massa only got ahead in the pit stops. He didn't even pass me or anything. And it's not like he was on my ass when he pitted. I mean, sure, he was within like a second behind or something. So I had a good pit stop. He had a good pit stop, but he was still second or 2 seconds faster, because he was a bit ahead of me when he came out on that in lap of his, which was my out lap. So, yep, that's what happens. Still P3, not going to be complaining about that. But it looks like I'm going to have to worry now to keep Alonso behind me rather than to catch Massa. Massa's almost 4 seconds ahead. Weber's 7 seconds, so we gained on him a little bit. I'm going a bit wide in the chicane. I've mentioned this, gotta keep paying attention. That's one of the things when you see good drivers really wanting to become great, it's when you hit your apexes consistently. Because you can still be fairly fast without hitting your apexes. But it's something you really need to focus on. Here, these 3 corners we just did, I missed all 3 of the apexes. And, that's gonna make me slower over the course of a whole race. That's gonna cost you a couple seconds, and I could cost you a couple places. So I'm not too comfortable with Alonso so close behind me. So one mistake, it still loses this podium position. Alonso's really firing up, so the Ferraris have found some pace in this track. McLarens have disappeared from our radar on Suzuka, while they were doing fairly well on their last couple races, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think Hamilton came second in Singapore. But yeah, Suzuka, oh, such a wonderful track. I've been thinking about it. If you look at the calendar, the first tracks on the calendar really aren't that much fun. If you look at it, the season only really starts with good tracks when you hit Monaco. I mean, just Bahrain, meh. Malaysia, meh. China, meh. Australia, I know it's a fan favorite because everybody and their mamas plays it online, but I don't find it such a spectacular track, really. It's really, the season really starts for me on Monaco. It makes it even harder because, of course, the season is starting in Bahrain if it's gonna start. Because lots of unrest in Bahrain while we're jolly getting around with our video games. There's some real revolutions going on in this world. Of course, there's Tunisia, Egypt now, and apparently protests in Bahrain are kicking up as well. And there's countries like Yemen and all that shit. So, from an egotistical point of view, oh my god, the F1, how's it gonna go in Bahrain? I hope these guys just, get some more freedom, that's for once. But imagine what are they gonna do if there's like full out people's revolution like in Egypt. Are you gonna go to Bahrain? Because there's a GP2 race this weekend there already. And of course there's a Bahrain test before the actual first race of the season. The cars are gonna test there start of next month. I think 3rd of March there's gonna be the final testing session. Of course this week there's another test session, right? On Friday. They're going to Barcelona, to Catalonia, pretty sure. Yep, they're going to the dreaded Catalonia. Let's see who has the quick, sick AI pace there, huh? So, last lap of the race, and Alonso backed off a little bit. Looks like he's under pressure from someone, which, I would like to know, but the HUD isn't comprehensive enough. And, well, I understand Rob not telling me, because it's not relevant to my racing, of course. Yeah, and again, the wonky AI. So Alguersuari posts the fastest lap of the race. I don't know what position he's going to finish in, but I doubt it's even going to be in the points. But still the fastest lap of the race. So we kept pace fairly well. Weber's only 8 seconds ahead now. He was 7 2-3 laps ago. So we kept pace, but the early pace of Weber was too fast for us. And then the mid-race pace was too fast. Massa's midway pace was too fast for us too. So I guess I will just have to bow my head and take this respectable 3rd place. Unless, of course, I mess up now. Just 2 more corners to go. The 130R in the final chicane. So as long as I don't mess up my brake in the chicane, we should be okay. Fastest lap might still be in it. 137 might get it into the 136s for the race. Yep, that's a good chicane. No spin, no spin. Yep, fairly well, fairly well. And there we go. Mark Webber's already crossed the finish line. So is Massa. And now we are. And we're probably going to see a bit of fist pumping. I'd like to see a bit more animations. I could have swore I've seen him do the Vettel finger. I want the Vettel finger, goddammit.
Third place. That's a fantastic result, mate. Well done. We didn't think it was possible yet.
Yeah, well, at least he's happy. That's all you can say about Rob. At least he's happy. So heading into the completely pointless press conferences because I already signed my contract and it's not going to change anything. But I figured I'd still show you guys. And they could have made this model a bit better. She's not hot. One hot, bitches! Isn't that the whole pit girls about? Okay, she's not a pit girl, she's a journalist. With the women on the side and stuff. Hot woman! I don't know why I'm doubting to pick something because, well, it doesn't matter anymore. Not gonna get any offers. Even because I took this contract with Lotus, something people might not know, and I beat my rival. Even if I already took the contract, so I may beat Mark Webber, I'm not gonna get a contract offer from Red Bull, as far as I know. So I hope you enjoyed this. Next up is Yeongam, if I pronounced that right, Korea Grand Prix. It's a track I despise and I've raced on maybe 2 times, so this is definitely going to be a challenge. It's going to take some practice. So until next time, please like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, and peace out.